Hello everyone and welcome. My name's Tommy Hosking. I'm an automotive mechanic and classic car specialist with over a decade of industry experience. Today you're going to be coming along. This is going to be my first video ever to be published, so I thought we might as well do it on this. This is a 1969 Boss 429 Mustang. I'm going to bring you along with me. We're going to be changing the oil in this car, and I'm going to show you a few little things as we go along that are pretty interesting and very unique to the Boss 429. We're going to lift the car up, we're going to have a look underneath, and you're going to get a Tommy eye view of what we're going to be doing underneath. Show you a few things and how original this particular car is, and it's very, very special. So very fortunate to work on it, very lucky. So we're going to start now and bring you along. So here we are under the Boss 429, extremely original condition. You can see all the paint on the tail shaft, all the numbers, see the diff numbers there from original. Extremely, extremely original car. These Mustangs were fitted with the heavy duty suspension, so the big springs, the heavy duty shock absorbers, a rear sway bar, things like that, including the front suspension as well. This car was restored in the early 2000s, I believe. So all these markings were taken off it from original and replaced. Some of them I do believe that to be original, but most of them have all been recreated exactly as they were from brand new. Hey mate, thank you. The sway bar here. It's in very, very good condition. A few little joints and things like that that are a little sad, but all in all, it's extremely, extremely good. So what we'll do is we'll come back here, we'll replace the oil, and we'll go from there. We'll change the oil filter as well. I've got a genuine for the time pre-production Motorcraft oil filter. So we can put that puppy on. We'll pre-fill that while this is draining. So here's the oil filter here, Motorcraft FL1A. I believe the originals were just an FL1 on the Boss 429, and they had it was mostly white with a big flat red decal basically saying change the filter every 5,000 or 6,000 miles and things like that. This is what's on it currently, so we'll swap it over. But always do check what oil filters you're putting on your cars. I'd like to check inside the filter as well, check the thread, check inside, just make sure that nothing is in there. You'd be surprised, trust me. So we're going to pre-fill this and keep going. This is just extremely high zinc content for flat tabbet cam, older engines. It's a mineral base, it's not synthetic or anything like that, so it's perfect for this. On the original stickers and past invoices on this car, I've found that they've used 1030 mineral. So we'll stick with that. We're going to pre-fill the oil filter. If you do want to see more on that sort of stuff, I'd definitely go and see up on YouTube Lake Speed Jr. Pretty cool guy, so pretty cool story. So we're going to pre-fill this guy. So the reason I pre-fill these is really once the engine starts up, the initial fire up of the engine once the oil's been changed, I don't want the oil pump to try and suck all that in with a big gulp of air, suck all the oil in, go through the filter. I want the filter to be primed, ready to go. That way, it's set and ready to go. You know, you're not going to have to fill the oil filter, and we're only talking a few seconds, but it really does matter, especially with a car and an engine such as this. I do it with a brand new Toyota as well. So here's sort of an argument that I have heard that people don't like filling them up. People don't like pre-filling these. Imagine doing a service on a Mack truck or a Kenworth. Imagine that. Imagine starting it up and just having dry oil filters on one of those big things. So I think obviously this is quite a bit scaled down, but still it's extremely important. So he's pretty much full now, so we're going to take the old one off and go from there. Now we have the power steering lines here that are quite in the way. Ooh. Cool, it's not too tight. Pop that guy off. Now you might see a little bit of coolant just here. That was from me just earlier. I just changed the coolant, did a coolant flush. It's a good colour, eh? Pretty stank. Do I want to be covered in oil? Not really, but you gotta do it for the gram, don't you? It's pretty good. Right, I try and work as cleanly as I can. Not the dirtiest mechanic in the world, that's for sure. Right, so we're down here, have a look here. That's the oil filter, where the oil filter was mounted. These two lines here, these two fittings, these two lines coming out of the oil filter housing, they go to the engine oil cooler. So these are factory fitted with a engine oil cooler, which sits right there. This big boy, this top line on the right there is the inlet, and he just sits right there. Perfect view for airflow. Pretty cool. So some of this coolant and things like that you just see here, that was from me. I've done a coolant flush on this thing because I think the coolant was older than me. So we'll put the new oil filter on and keep going. Always do that. Doesn't matter what it is. Put a little bit of oil on the O-ring, and then we'll slot him in. Right. Now these don't have to be massively tight. Obviously everyone has their own opinion. Wipe it down. Always double check, triple check your work. Right. Always put new sun plug washers on your cars. Right, I like to do them up finger tight as much as I possibly can. The last thing you want to do is cross thread these puppies in a world of pain. Always do things up by hand. Don't matter what your dad says. Now this is quite a long ring spanner, so we're not going to force it like that. I'm going to grab it just at the top here and just feel it. And just let the gasket cinch in. Obviously, if you you can just buzz it back in, but a lot of these classic cars take a lot of feel and finesse and just years of feel and how the bolts tighten up and things like that. Actually, a funny story, I remember someone sent me the video. It was from Ian Tyrrell in the UK. And he was saying that the Rolls-Royce mechanics never used torque wrenches on the cylinder heads and engine assembly and connecting rods and all that sort of stuff. And I was like, what the hell? Like that's pretty nuts. But he said, like, if they used a torque wrench, they didn't feel how the bolt stretched and things like that, and they were fired. So, not that you'll be fired from most places for doing that. I think using a torque wrench is obviously a bare minimum in a lot of things, but sometimes it looks like I'm putting a lot of pressure here, but I'm actually just feeling the thread and feeling the washer tighten up. I might sound like a psychopath, but I'm 100% confident, so cool. We'll fill that with oil now, and I'll show you something cool at the top. And now while we're up here, we'll give it all a big clean and things like that, just to make sure it's all nice. This is just a microfiber. Thanks Ammo NYC. I met Larry when he came to Sydney for the Sydney Harbour Concourse, and it was like meeting one of your heroes, to be honest. Right, always make sure everything's nice and clean. It's definitely worth it, so. Right, lovely. Very nice, looks good. Everything's sealed up, all nice. We'll let him down. check this out. This is the breather. Check that out. It's quite an old school thing they used to do, is shove stainless steel like little brushes and wire in the breathers. So when you do see that, I try and just flick it out. Most of it is really compacted in there, but you just want to make sure, you know, if you just wipe the bottom, that none of it is going to come out. So I do like to aggregate it a bit and just move it around and flick it. That way you're getting all the little strands out. That way, and just give it a little tap and things like that just to get it all out. But one pretty cool thing, so check out all the original markings on the engine. Pretty sure it's okay. I've seen it about 10 times. So here's a little plaque at the back. That's where it says use 1030, 1040. All the original stickers and things like that. Here's the engine oil cooler that we were just talking about. Extremely original car. Right, we'll top it up with oil. Put the funnel in, and we'll start filling him up. Perfectly on the mark. So we will now, I'll be cleaning all this and making it all just very gently. Just lift the dust off of it before we hand it back to the owner. So grab that. It looks very, very good condition. Do you want to shove it back in there? No, solid. So we'll just gently slot him back in like that. Wonderful. Cool. Right, we'll disconnect the little coil and then we will crank it over. So like I said, by disconnecting the coil, this is just this thing here, we remove the ignition system from the circuit basically. We will have no spark to the spark plugs. Now I would recommend disconnecting the wiring to the coil, not just disconnecting the high tension lead from the coil. If you disconnect the lead and leave the wiring still plugged in, it's still going to spark and arc, especially right near a big carburetor, and it has nowhere to go, so it's not very good for it. So keep it all disconnected, keep it all connected, sorry, with the leads, but just disconnect the wiring. It's much safer. So you can just technically disconnect one side, but I like to disconnect both sides. So cool. Lovely. All right, now we'll crank it over, build some oil pressure up and go from there. Right, now that we've cranked it, we'll fire it up and see how she runs. Right, well that concludes our video of the Boss 429 Mustang oil change. Thank you for watching, I really appreciate it. Leave us a comment if you found this interesting and what you think about the Boss 429. Is it one of the best Mustangs and engines ever built? I think the Indy 4 cam is the best one. I've got the original book for that. But let me know, leave me a comment, let me know if you'd like to see more about the classic cars that we do. It's not really a huge thing I share, but yeah, leave us a comment, leave us a like, and thank you very much for your time. See you later.